Let's do this. So, welcome to another Basecamp Denver. Tonight we have Grace Schroeder. Welcome. Thank you for being in the hot seat. It's not really a hot seat, like actually quite cool, quite comfortable. So do you live in Denver or New York City?
I live in New York. My company's headquartered here. We've always been a virtual company, so it doesn't really matter. Nobody really knows where I am at any point in time.
Good move.
My investor group is largely still here, so I come out here a couple times a month. I'll tell you about myself first. I'm an oddball. I started as, I'm an Army brat, so I've lived in a lot of different places my whole life, and I hated it when I was young, but it made me very adaptable, and I then enjoyed being adaptable. In my career, I was always attracted to the data side, and in college, I worked for the first female stockbroker in Boulder, and I worked on the first compact computer, which I don't know if you know this, but it was literally a tower with a keyboard on top with a leather strap, and it was a portable computer, right? It was like carrying a tower with a green screen.
How much did that cost?
I don't know, because it wasn't mine, but they'd let me take it home and play with it, and I was like, wow. So, DOS, all that, you had to do a lot to make it go. But I was really always attracted to technology and data, and I always had this sort of like, modern, optimization, efficiency model. And so this idea that it has to be easier to build an application from scratch. It was stuck in my head. I did the corporate thing. I've gone between large corporations and startups. So I started my first one really in Los Angeles, a day trading firm in the late 90s with a couple of Texans. Who really didn't know anything, but they had the money. So of course I had the licenses and I knew what I was doing. So I did most of the work, and it was fun. It got litigious, day trading, because people started losing money. But I really got sort of that experience of working for large companies.
So did you go to college?
Yes, I dropped out twice. I finally finished when I was 38 at San Francisco. I started at Boulder, so I finished when I was 38 as a psych major. I have a really good friend. In fact, one of our investors is with a company called, he's a partner at Red Associates. When they go in to help a company solve a business problem, they literally put social scientists, they live in the environment. They sit on the wall. They'll actually go live in people's homes to study how children interact with technology. It's about, technology adoption, what it makes you feel like. Does it make you stupid? Does it make you feel stupid? Does it make you feel good? And all of those dynamics cause a company to either take a new path because people gather a new sense of awareness about things, or they sort of die like Blockbuster. And it's anybody's choice, right?
You go into consulting. What was that like? How long did you do that?
So it was about 2-3 years. At the time, this was in 2007, 2008, we're starting to configure some of these early tools. And I'd hear them complain, and they kept saying, we should have just built it from scratch. We wasted our time on this framework. And so I thought to myself, being a psych major and all, how hard could it be to build a platform that would let you have the exact data structure and the exact features you needed from scratch, just as fast as it would take you to buy one of these frameworks and configure it? That can't be that hard. So when I decided to start this company, I was at Quest 2002 to 2006, and I started seeing the whole internet thing come up and software as a service. I was like, telecom is actually the natural aggregator of the cloud. If they did it right, they would be the place that sold you all their apps because they're driving the bandwidth, and they would have the most to benefit, but you could not get them off the dime, because the way they think about the world is we buy other people's technology, we operationalize it, we sell the same thing to everybody. Then I went off on my own, and I started consulting in the area of unified communications.
How long did you work in telecom? So tell me.
4 years.
That's it?
Yep.
What did you do before that?
2 startups in Chicago, which were data-centric managed hosting startups.
So you've always kind of played in this world of enterprise technology?
After financial services,
you were like...
Yeah, that's when I started getting really into the technology and taught myself. So at the day trading firm, we ran at the time we had trader. I was configuring Ascend pipeline routers for people that wanted to trade over ISDN lines from home. I didn't know anything about any of that.
And neither does anybody listening to us
right
now.
So it was a very high stress but interesting.
Like, what is it that wasn't your cup of tea?
So I thought about this today when I was thinking about what I was going to say here, and I saw more in myself than a large company saw in me. And so they saw a role that they wanted me to play, but it wasn't a role that really was doing me any good, you know?
Sure.
And so the only way for me to get actualized was to go do my own thing. And it meant enough to me that I'd take the risk to do it. The technology world was changing materially. So as soon as I would build something, it was obsolete.
Just like that.
Like by the time you were done. So after I threw away the first one, I started the second one, I already knew what was going to happen next. I already knew I was throwing away that one. Today, there are 10,000 software as a service applications out there. The marketing ones are doubling every 15 months. So I thought, you know where it's going? We need something that can follow behind what the humans choose to use. Let them. If they adopt technology, you're done. That's great. Let your people choose what they want. It's not a top-down decision. Every human knows what's making their life easier. We'll come in behind you. We'll aggregate that information. We'll put certain functionality on our platform where it's under the waterline. We're not going to go out there and build a messaging app like a Slack, but we can make Slack talk to your data like no other platform on the planet.
So is that what SLINGR is today?
Yes.
I want to know, as our slogan is keep climbing, what keeps you going? What is the motivation and inspiration?
That's a tough one to answer. There's a therapist guy that works with a lot of startup CEOs, and I've read some of the articles about him, and one of the things that is in common with a lot of founders is that they felt like as children they weren't being seen, and it's very common, and starting this business sort of becomes a way for you to be seen, and that resonates with me because I felt that way in larger companies. But that not being seen thing, I think, has resonates the most with me about why would you go out and do this? Like, I think I see something in the market. I saw it a long time ago. I've been right before, and I never did anything about it. And so every time when things get really hard and you're staring up at your ceiling going, how am I going to hit payroll tomorrow? You think, okay, why, I could be sitting in the coffee shop having a fat job and living the life that I see, but it wasn't built for me. It wasn't what I needed, and so that would be what I would guess is the reason I did it.
Thank you, everybody. What we do at Basecamp is drill down into some sticky business. Tonight was all about enterprise software, and so thank you, Grace, for being. Yeah, thank you very, very much for being here with us in Denver. Thank you. Have a good night. Be good out there.